7 Days of Wisdom, episode 27, pumping up the volume, Mother's Day edition, Sunday, May 8th, 2016, 9:42 p.m. This week, we will be hopping right into the topic of creativity, the creative gap, and how to close our creative gap, and how it impacts not only creativity, but our entire life. So, hopping right into that, Lewis Howes, Chase Jarvis, episode 321. They discussed many things in regards to creativity and entrepreneurship. And one of the few topics that I picked up was the topic of the creative gap. About midway through the video, around 45 minutes, a little more than midway through the interview, Chase Jarvis spoke about the importance of visualizing success for everything that he does. And for those of you who don't know, which may be many of you, Chase Jarvis is an award-winning photographer, director. He also has his own show. He has Creative Live, his company, his website. And I came across this stuff initially maybe 4 years ago. So I have an old post on my website. If you type in his name, Chase Jarvis, ChaseJarvis. He also interviews a lot of people as well on his YouTube channel. So definitely check out his stuff. He has a lot of great content. And he mentioned in his interview with Lewis the importance of visualizing success for everything that he does. And he referenced the work of a gentleman by the name of Ira Glass, who is a radio personality and broadcaster. And Chase said that when we first start out doing something, what we see in our mind and what we are actually able to create is our creative gap. So regardless of what medium or form of artistic expression we engage ourselves in, there's always the visualization, the taste that we have to achieve something, and then actually producing the result for what we want to achieve. In between that space is the creative gap. It's only through repetition, practice, skill, self-talk, visualization that our goal should be to close the gap between what we envision and what we will someday produce. So ultimately, acknowledging our creative gap and moving towards closing our creative gap is what separates us, those people who achieve their ambitions, dreams, and goals, from those who unfortunately do not. So we know where we are. We know where we want to go. It's that space in between that's that real separating factor between achieving the success and vision that we want in life. So ultimately, that is our creative gap. And everyone can have a creative gap, because the thing is that I personally believe we were all created as human beings, right? Pretty much a fact. Therefore, we are all creative in some way or another. So life overall is a creative process. So we can literally apply this method to our life. Seeing everything as a creative gap, visualizing what is it we want. What do we need to do to get there? It could be the little smallest things, from achieving a good grade and visualizing that and putting in the work and studying to bigger things such as building a company. Just reverse engineer it, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say. And I've been digesting and absorbing so much Gary V content this week. It's ridiculous. I'm sure y'all will hear more about that in the following weeks to come as I go through his interviews and break stuff down. So look forward to that. But yeah, this is literally a process, a strategy, an outlook, a philosophy that we can all tangibly apply to our everyday life. So when we visualize and believe we can achieve what's in our mind, through doing that, through creating volumes of work, a volume of work, doing it over, doing it again, doing it better, doing it again, doing it better, do it again, do it better. We're learning more about the process, we're gaining experience, we're gaining resources, we're gaining tools and strategies through the repetition of doing it that eventually we achieve closing that gap. The more you do something, the more it allows you to see, all right, how can I do it better? What can I do right? What do I need to stop doing? The only way to go through that process and put yourself in that state of being and thinking, more importantly, state of being, is to do. The only way to put yourself in that state of being successfully is to do. You know, we can think, but unless we're actually doing as well as thinking, you know, thinking is only half of the process. So as I mentioned, we don't all have to be quote-unquote creative people, artists, drawers, photographers, painters. However, we are still all creative people in one way or another, because our life is a creative process. But what's really interesting, as I was going through learning this and writing this article, just so you know, the article is entitled Closing Our Creative Gap, Chase Jarvis, and I'll put that as a link down in the resources. What's really most interesting is that if our creative gap is unfulfilled, let's think about it. Most likely we will be unfulfilled, because there are things in life that we visualize and want to achieve. However, we don't go about achieving it for whatever reason it may be. Hindrances, distractions, excuses. When our creative gap is unfulfilled, most likely we will be unfulfilled. So I thought, is this maybe one of the reasons why a lot of people are unfulfilled with their lives? Because they vision one thing but weren't able to achieve it. And on top of that, what is the impact that this unfulfillment has on our careers, has on our lives, has on our relationships? And this really caused me to think, what is the correlation between lacking creative fulfillment and living an unsatisfied life? I would love to know, and I'm sure I will find out. Sounds like it can actually be a great hypothesis for a research study. So I will be keeping that question in mind, and I would like for you all to keep that question in mind as well. Let's really think about it. What is the correlation between lacking creative fulfillment and living an unsatisfied life? Let's think about that question throughout the week. Think about what we have to do, because we make the decisions, we make the choices ultimately. We decide whether or not we want to do something. I've said that before, I'll say it again. It's our decision. We have to take responsibility and accountability for our actions as well as the results, on behalf of our actions. And to take it to another level, and this is even deeper, how might our creative gap affect our economic, educational, and social gaps? So, we have a lot of thinking to do this week. I want you all to think about the correlation between lacking creative fulfillment and living an unsatisfied life. Are you living an unsatisfied life right now? How can we fix it? Are you lacking creative fulfillment? What can we do to fill that void? How can we use this process to increase our economic, educational, and social wealth and fulfillment? So let's think about this. Let's really do some deep thinking about all of this. Next, we're hopping right into quotes of the week. Not too many this week. It's been a super busy week for me. Not too many quotes this week. Before we get into the quotes, just for a minute. Of course, today was Mother's Day. And as I mentioned last week, I would tell you this news this week because I was saving it. But for those of you who may not have seen it on Facebook or Instagram, I shared the news with my mother today that I officially passed the kindergarten K through 6 elementary education praxis for the state of New Jersey. So I will be applying to get my CE, Certificate of Eligibility, to be a teacher, an official teacher now. So, just to have that option of being a teacher, leading the classroom, is a good thing to have. Who knows what I may actually be doing come September, because a lot of opportunities have begun to open up. So who knows? I put in all this work to get a CE, and then, I might not even be in a classroom. Who knows? I may be in a classroom. Regardless, we're still moving forward. The vision is still the same. Investing in the collective future of society through education, through the arts, through entertainment, and through leadership. So the vision's still the same. Whether I'm in a classroom or not, I am still gung-ho, still an advocate for education, regardless of what platform I'm on. I will still be speaking in schools, engaging with students, colleges, universities, worldwide, in a city near you, a region near you. So, still on that path. Quotes of the week. Number 1, this was on probably Monday. Excuses are solutions we decide. This comes from Natalie Jill, Fit via Lewis House School of Greatness podcast, episode 323. Excuses are solutions we decide. As I just mentioned, we decide the choices we make. We decide, we make the decisions. We make the decisions. So whether it's an excuse or a reason, we're deciding to make that. Alright? Second quote, our opportunities are often a result of our effort. When we put in effort into something, we create the chance, we increase our chances and likelihood of bringing opportunities to ourselves. Put in work, put in work, put in work, put in work. The more work you put in, the more content you create. As your volume of work increases, your opportunities, your chances for opportunities increase. The likelihood for you having opportunities come your way increases. Volume of work, increased opportunity. I had something written down too that actually related to that. Where is that? Yeah, volume, increase value. Volume, increase value. I really don't know what that means. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that down, but increase your volume, increase your value, increase your opportunities, pretty much. Third quote, I won't wait 20 years to achieve my dreams, but I will certainly work 20 years to achieve my dreams. In other words, don't wait around, work. Don't wait 10 years, work 10 years. Don't wait 5 years, put in work 5 years for 5 years. If you really want to achieve something and it's of substance and purpose and value, you won't give up because you can't give up. You're too passionate about it. I've pretty much been on this journey I'm on now 10, 12 years, since I was 18, since I graduated from Piscataway High School. You know, doing the music thing, producing, writing songs, getting into marketing, working in schools. Now, everything is just synthesizing, beginning to synthesize, and I'm literally just creating my own lane off of everything that I've done the last 10 to 12 years has started to compile and make sense. I have a mission, I have a vision, social mission, purpose. So if it wasn't for every single thing, in every single way that I've done it for the past 10, 12 years, I would not be where I am now. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done. There's always going to be a lot of work to be done. But I am so happy for where I am now, and even happier for where I'm about to go. For where we're about to go, actually. Because we're on this journey together. Trust me. We are on this journey together. So yeah, don't wait, work. Don't wait, work. Work towards your goals, work towards your dreams, work towards your vision. Second to last one, Vaynerworld, Gary Vaynerchuk. He was at WeWork London, gave a great speech, had a great interview, and towards the end, after the Q&A, he really had a heart-to-heart with the audience. And one of the things that he said that hit me, that I picked up on, was the biggest poison in us is regret. The biggest poison in us is regret. He said he was talking to senior citizens, elderly people, and he asked them, what is one thing you wish you could have done? And they said, oh, I wish I could have done this, or wish I could have done that. And he said, not to them, but in his mind, don't wish. Let's not wish, let's do. You know, let's look forward. When it comes to opportunities, let's start looking forward and saying, if I wasn't doing this, or if I do not do this, how will I feel? Will I regret this decision? Will I regret that? To this day, I don't feel there's anything I regret. Because when it gets put on the table, I literally think forward, like, all right, what is the reason for me doing this? If I don't do it, will I regret the decision of not doing it? So by thinking like that, it allows me to say no easier, and it allows me to say yes. I say yes to stuff that excites me. I say yes to things that I feel are of value to me, my time, my development. So when we are able to go into situations and really weigh out the pros and cons, positives and negatives, how it will impact us and our growth and well-being, we are better able to make those decisions. So let's not look back and say we wish we could have done that, or wish we could have done this. You know? Our biggest poison is regret. The biggest poison in us is regret. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. Gary V. If you don't know who he is, definitely look into him. At Gary V on Twitter, at Gary V on Instagram. GaryVee. Check him out on Snapchat too. He's heavy on Snapchat. Last quote: I don't have the time to waste anyone else's. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think I thought of that one yesterday morning. I'm like, man, I don't have time to waste people's time. Like, I value my time too much, so I don't have the time to waste anyone else's. And speaking of that, if you're tuning into this right now, listening to this, I appreciate it so much because it's so hard to buy time and attention. And just the mere fact that you're devoting your time and attention to me out of all the billions of things to do in this world says a lot. So I appreciate that, and I will continue to add as much value and insight and knowledge and advice as I possibly can. So as I learn, you learn. As I learn, you learn. I should write that down. Might be my motto for the future. As I learn, you learn. We learn together. So, with that being said, I believe that's everything for episode 27, 7 Days of Wisdom. I am your host, Aquaus Kelley. This is a Lover's Ambition Lifestyle Group presentation. And I believe we are out. Yeah. We are out. See you next week, episode 28. Have a blessed week. Peace.